So let's begin with this particular session, the module 3. So module 3 will primarily talk about the data visualization concept, so charts, and we'll see some analysis topics as well, and we'll see that how simple and how easy it is in Excel to do some sophisticated analysis, so using data. And then we will see some techniques of data formatting as well, so data formatting tools and techniques, both the things we will be talking about. So to understand these concepts, so first of all, let me tell you certain things, like whenever you see data, so the first thing that comes in our mind is that we need to make some, like, take out some information out of that particular data. So that is the primary objective. Now when we say bringing out information from data, that can be in several formats. So some people prefer to just make some pivots and then do it. Some people prefer to put it in some analysis tools and then get some information, and some people rather try to put it in, let's say, environment like Power BI or Power Tools of Excel. So that kind of environment they will put, and then they will make data models and then gather data. So there are different ways of extracting information from the data that we have got, and the data may be from any given source. So it may be from your regular day-to-day work, it might be from your uh, environmental data as well, or it might be some social like network related data. So data is floating everywhere. So today we don't talk about data in terms of megabytes or gigabytes. Those days are gone. So we now talk about something called terabytes, exabytes, petabytes, and and most of the companies who are into analytics and all, they talk about something called zeobyte, or mm, other terms, zotabyte, or some zotobyte or something like this. So huge amount of data being generated, and to analyze such data we require not only the tools, but we need some expertise as well. We need some analysis like skills as well. So Excel provides a base of all those kind of like analysis whatever we see. So bringing on to that particular aspect, so let's move on and check what are the different components. Like when you talk about a chart, what is a chart actually? So chart is actually a visual representation. So most of the places when we see chart, we get to understand that, okay, we can clearly represent the data in a way which audience will understand. So I'm just giving you some examples over here. So how are charts made, and what are the guidelines for making charts? So maybe I'll just take a minute over here to explain this particular model. So this is nothing that I have made something. So this is readily available on the internet also. If you search, if you will get that. Now this particular screen talks about, and you can take it as a thought starter for making your charts as well. So this is actually chart suggestions. So usually it says that, okay, we make charts for 4 different reasons. So what are those reasons? The reasons are either we create a chart for showing relationship, or we create chart for showing some distribution or comparison or composition. So these are the 4 activities for which we actually make a chart. Now whenever we are showing distribution or relationship, so primarily it might happen that that is for a single variable or multiple variable or a couple of variables. So based on our, like, options, based on the data points that are available, we actually create different types of charts. So for example, if you say that I need to show a distribution of data over a time, something like this. So we say that, okay, fine, we have let's say over time, if we want to show directly, we can say that, okay, we need to go here and see distribution, single variable, and many data points. So we see that it should be a line histogram. So this is just a guideline, doesn't nothing like as a hard and fast rule, but just gives a very good glimpse. And it is true also. Let's take an example. If you want to show or just to draw a trend line of Bangalore's population, let's say for past 20 years or 30 years, we would definitely not go for pie chart. We will definitely not go for column chart, because column chart will again give a very congested feel of your data. So we will definitely go for a histogram, whatever we say. So line histogram is something, so not a column histogram. So those kind of concepts are already there, and it helps us to identify the requirement. So we will be predominantly talking about some of the chart types, and in our forthcoming modules, we will also learn that how charts can help us to analyze data. So any given data, how do we start analyzing data? By simply making a chart. So first step was definitely to look into the data by making filters or by making pivots. That was the primary thing that we all do, or we used to do. But using charts will be a very like unique way and sophisticated way for understanding data. So let's go ahead and understand the data, and let's see how far we can move with data. So let's proceed. So if we say that, okay, we need to talk about data visualization concepts, and then and let's take an example. We will be doing some very basic analysis with data, and believe me, this particular analysis you can do it for your data, for your office related data, for your department related data, and wherever you have any issues in like you have gathered some issues and you want to you are in a fix, like what are the points that I need to focus on. So this kind of analysis will help you to find out those areas. So let's take an example that for past 3 months or 6 months you have collated some data, and it shows all the issues that your department or organization is facing. Now they have some, let's say, measuring units. So based on the measuring units, you can do some analysis and find out which is the part that if you focus, your most of the problem will be sorted out. So let's take similar kind of data and proceed further. I will give you a story behind this particular data. So there's a file called website errors that is there in your data set. So when you open this particular file, it is, I'll just tell you what is the story behind this data. So this is a data of a company which manages a web portal, and they had some issues one fine day. So let's take an example of let's say Flipkart. So the day they launched their 1 million customers or something like this, they had some issues with their websites. So think of some certain company which is similar to let's say Flipkart, and had some issues on a particular given date, and they wanted to find out what was the major issue. So what happened one fine day, that not we will not call it as a one fine day, because on that day what happened, they had some issues with the portal, and they wondered what to do with that particular thing. So the entire day went on just taking calls and logging on tickets for different types of issues. So at the end of the day, the manager walks in and sets up a meeting, a huddle kind of thing, and ask all the team members that, what do you think, which was the most important issue? If we just fix that, that will be taking care of all these chaos that happened today. So everybody came up with their own answers. Somebody says that, okay, I actually got 10 issues on 10 tickets on domain errors. So if I think that if we can handle that domain error, we will be able to fix this particular issue. Somebody says, no, I have taken, you're talking about 10 tickets, I have handled 20 tickets of JVM issue, Java Virtual Machine issue. So if we fix that, it will be done. Somebody says you are talking about 10 and 20s. I have handled 300 tickets of broken links. So I think that is the major issue that is driving. So likewise, all the team members, they put forward their own thoughts in the mind of manager. And now what happens, the same thing cannot be portrayed to the management for a related action, or what we call it as a related measure. So for course of action, we need some very solid data that we talk about. Now manager knows something that the team member doesn't know. Manager knows how to actually work with this data and how to find out and how to do analysis on this particular data. So he just asks for the number of tickets. So just talks to his team member and says that just give me the ticket numbers, or how many tickets if you have actually handled today. So everybody give their own number of tickets, whatever tickets they have handled, whatever calls they have handled, and all details. And finally, the manager arrives at this particular data. So this only says website errors. So these were the website errors that were faced by the users, and the team had actually logged in these issues. And these are the counts of those tickets. So if you just sum it up, you will see that it was actually 1500 tickets that were logged on a particular day, which was a huge number. So they were actually worried about, like, it should not be repeated next time. It's a very bad impression on the users and the customers as well. So they wanted to minimize this. So manager knows a trick and knows about some analysis. We call it 80-20. 80-20. So we say that if we, so like 20% of the problem creates 80% of the causes or issues, whatever. So there's a relationship between the problems and the issues, or the after effect, or the causes. So we can actually analyze them. So when I say 80-20, so this is 80 and 20 means 80% and 20%. So 80% things can be, or issues can be resolved if we talk about the 20% problems that we have. So just to find out what is my 20% which can take care of my 80% of the chaos, we need to do some very basic analysis. So let's move ahead, and this particular analysis is actually also termed, in terms of quality measurement, it is also termed as something called uh, Pareto analysis, we call it Pareto. So let's see what is Pareto and how this can be done using this simple looking issues, or the tickets that we have logged in. So think this as your the issues that you're facing in your day-to-day work environment, or something, some issue logs if you are maintaining. So just to think from that perspective. So you have actually counted the number of issues. Now you want to see which issues to focus on. What is that 20% which is bothering me 80% of the time? So I just wanted to have a look at that. So for that purpose, the first thing that you need to do is actually, first of all, select the data. This is the first step that you are going to take. The moment you select the data, the next thing that we are going to do is actually sort the data. So this is first thing, selection of the data and sorting of the data. So the moment I need to sort the data. So for sorting the data, the shortcut is Alt DS. Alt DS. The moment I press Alt DS from my keyboard, automatically this particular screen pops up, and it is asking on what basis you need to sort out, or on what basis you need to sort the data. So I say that definitely I would like to sort it based on the count of the issues. Said okay, count. Now I'm not looking at count from smallest to largest, because my focus is on the top issues. So definitely I would like to sort it based on the largest to smallest, and I say okay, it's done. So largest to smallest, I sort the data, and I'm just like kickstart, we can just go ahead with that. Now the next step, because we're talking about data visualization and we're talking about aspect which requires our like technical expertise of visualization. So what we can do is actually we can um, from our keyboard, I just need to bring in a column chart, what we say, that is the basic of doing this analysis. So for bringing the column chart, we can either go to insert and bring column chart, or from our keyboard, if you simply press alt, so if you simply press alt plus F1, actually it creates your uh, chart on the same sheet. So alt F1 creates chart on same sheet. So I just need to actually select the data, and the moment I press alt F1, it creates a chart. So it's very simple and like quick, we can create the chart. So this is my chart which shows me, okay, there are some issues lying at the top, and there are so many issues which are at the bottom end. So we need to just focus on the top ones, and we will, the rest of the things will actually fall in place automatically. So now, having said that, we need to take our second step. The second step for making these charts is actually talking about what we call is, so we have to understand one term here called cumulative. So first of all, we have to find out what do you mean by cumulative. Cumulative is nothing but the summation of these numbers. So if I say cumulative, so cumulative or first number is actually the same thing. There's nothing great in that, the first number. Now cumulative of the second number is actually nothing but this plus this. So this is known as cumulative. So you will just add up two cells to make a particular cumulative number. So directly the moment I say plus and press enter, it gives me the cumulative, which means that if I simply drag this particular thing down, we should be able to get the final output, which is my uh, number that I was looking for, which is the total number of issues or the counts that we have got here. So now what happens is that we have got the cumulative number, which is like this. Now our objective is to actually put the data into this particular chart. Now before we move on to the chart, so just let me tell you about some of the sections of this chart. So this is the axis, the title. So here I can simply write Pareto analysis. So this is the basic type of analysis that Excel supports. So now I'm on my way to actually put this cumulative into the chart, but the cumulative will not be put as a number. Fine. So cumulative will be put as a percentage. Now how do we create the percentage, or how do we calculate the percentage? Percentage is this particular number is the numerator and this particular number will be the denominator. So if you say that I'm talking about, let's say, cumulative percentage. So cumulative percentage for the first number will be this number divided by this particular number. Now for cumulative and for the percentage to be calculated, all the numbers should be in numerator and the last number should be in denominator. This is the concept. This is the fundamental thing that we need to understand while making or while working with cumulative. The denominator will be same for all of these numbers. So if you wish to put the denominator same for all these numbers, we simply need to press F4. The moment we press F4, we see that actually we have got a message that it is in percentage. Now percentage, when we say we just need to convert it into a percentage format. So we go to home and we convert to percentage. So these are the steps. And then what I need to do, I need to simply drag it down. The moment I drag it down, automatically what happens is we get an output based on this particular data. So we see that things are, let's say till 100% we have the data. Now instead of the cumulative number, we are supposed to put the cumulative percentage on this particular chart. So let's explore this, what it means. If we just right click, we have an option called select data. This is very important, so just make sure that you are listening to each and everything apart from visualizing it. So first step is to right click on any in this white portion of the data. Don't click on the chart, that white extra portion that we have got. So there we can right click and we have got an option called select data. The moment we click on select data, it says that okay, fine, one of the legend entries are already there, one of the series is already there. So we are supposed to create our own series, a new series, and I say add. The moment I say add, automatically we see that it is asking for series name and values. So series name being this one, and values, for values what we do, we simply move out of this particular series and we take this data. So make sure that you have removed that one and that curly braces, otherwise it will give you a skewed data. Just I will tell you why. Because if you keep that one will act as 100%. So this 23 will be showing as 123%, 144%, something like this. Now we say okay. After just selecting the cumulative percentage, we say okay, and once again we say okay. Now the moment we say okay, we see something unusual over here, but which is not unusual from Excel perspective, which is absolutely right. But when we visualize it, we see something unusual, that we are not able to see the second section, the second series that we have just connected, or just we have like added to this particular place. So what happens is that we have the data, but we have the cumulative, but it is not visible properly. So to make it visible, actually what we need to do is we need to bring out these small, see the dots are available, or you can see the dots, but at times what happens, this even these dots are not available, even we don't see the dots even. So the idea is to right click on these dots, but if you're not able to view these dots, you won't be able to like see it also or work with it also. So how do we do that? So we create like we click on this particular link, or we click on this particular outline. The moment you press down arrow once, you see that all your small sections are highlighted. Now if you simply right click, here, automatically you will see that your options are popping up. So you simply click on something called format data series. The moment you click on format data series, you will see that this option has come here. So here we just need to go to something called secondary access. The moment we go to secondary access, we see that our chart has come, and since it was a cumulative data, automatically it has has been created as a parabola sort of thing. Now the problem now that occurs is that our blue columns are hidden behind these red columns. Okay, so what we need to do, we need to just simply right click. So already the tabs are right clicked, all the clicked. So we simply go to design and say change chart type. The moment we go to change chart type, we simply go to cumulative percentage, and you can either take the first one or the fourth one. Don't take any other thing. That will again create a different types of charts for other objectives. So you either take the first one or the fourth one. Let's say I take the fourth one. The moment I say OK, you see that the chart has been prepared. So this is actually your Pareto chart, the basis of Pareto chart. So what it is showing, it is showing the numbers on the left hand side, and it is showing the cumulative percentage on the right hand side. So cumulative percentage will help us to actually figure out 80 and 20. So what is my 80 and what is my 20? So based on that, if I just to try to figure out, okay, the main idea of putting this 80 and 20 is that our we just wanted to know where is my 80%. So somewhere it will be an 80% mark, and wherever that 80% mark cuts this particular line, the rest of the part will definitely be 20%. So our main idea now is to actually bring out the target line. Where is 80%? Now there are several things that we actually can do here. So let's take an example that if I just wanted to fetch a mean or a median. So if you have got these particular data points, so if I say my median, suppose, just wanted to check like how the median works here. So if you say equal to median of this number, so just for an example, if you simply say like this and freeze it, close it, so you can see that the median is almost around 50. So now the same thing, if I just want to bring it over here, so directly it won't be coming here, since we have already made the secondary axis. So if you just right click once again and say select data and say add and say series name and remove this and bring out this particular median and say OK and say OK, and then what we need to do, we again go to this particular chart options. There are different options, chart options and text options. So you just click on a particular chart. So this has to be in primary axis, so automatically you see that your median comes here. So that is the median of all the values that is there. So similarly, we would like to create something called the target line as well. So this is one median that we have created. Second line we just wanted to create as target. Now target here is actually like 80%, because we are talking about 80-20, 80-20. So definitely we need to first of all think, where is my 80%? So simply what we will do, we'll take this 80%, and if we copy and paste it, automatically you will see that. So this is as simple as copy paste. Once you have decided the primary and the secondary axis, and once we have formulated those primary and secondary axis, definitely our focus will be to convert the data quickly into the chart. So this has been done right now. So you can see that our Pareto chart has been created, and it has also marked the 80% target line. Now once it is done, we can actually go to design. So always remember, there are certain things that we need to remember, very like this, it's a very important thing. First of all, for making Pareto chart, please sort the data. That is the first thing. Second, whenever you are making a chart, the column chart, the first column chart you are making, please do not make it for 3D charts. It has to be a 2D chart. So that also we have to take care of. And next, whenever we are actually talking about the target lines and all, so they have to be on the secondary axis, which is the percentage line. And once you have done this chart, or once you have made this chart, we can definitely switch to a particular format. So let's say this is my format, and here this is my data. So what I can do now, I can go to format, and now I can actually go to shape outline. And if you take any of these particular lines or something which allows you to actually create the target line. So since it is target line, we would like to make it as a dotted line sort of thing. So something like this, a dotted line sort of thing. And if you are not comfortable putting this particular dots, then we can actually like remove them as well. So like this. So this becomes a simple dotted line like this. So now this becomes a full-fledged Pareto analysis chart. Now we will do some refinement over here. This becomes my chart. So we can just hide our data now, so don't require it. So mainly we were looking for this particular chart. Now actually this gives me an idea about my 80 and 20. So now what I will do some formatting, because the end of the day I need to actually present it to the management, and I need to actually work on this particular details. So directly when I simply go ahead and work on this chart, I need to just find out where is my 80-20. So I can just do one thing. I can take a line and make a line like this, so almost like this. The more points you have, the better will be your Pareto chart. Always remember this. So wherever it meets the line, so it might be meeting in this particular place or something. So based on wherever it meets, you can just mark it. So let's say I'm just marking it like this. This is my 80-20. Now how will you mention this? So you will just take a arrow symbol like this. So usually we just take it like this. So we say that this is the area that we need to focus on. So this part. And to make things more clear, we take up a small rectangle and put it over here, but we don't put it as a like a opaque object. We go to shape outline, we go to more colors, and we increase the what we say, the transparency. We say okay, and you can even change the color like this. So now this becomes a full-fledged chart. So analysis chart. So now what it exactly means is that we need to have an output based on this particular chart. So we can say that this is the part we need to focus on. So this is my actually 20% of the all errors, but it is actually creating 80% of the chaos. So if we focus on this particular area, we should be absolutely fine. And the next part says that in this particular section, Though it looks like there are so many issues, but all these issues actually count to only 20% of my problem. So you can see that though there are a varied number of issues, our median was 50. So our actual focus that we want to give is actually on this particular 4 or 5 issues that is creating the problem. So though when we see the data, it looks like okay, fine, we can actually figure out how many points are there, how many data points are there which we need to focus on, what, how many issues are there. But data representation on a chart is much better in this particular case. So this was something called the Pareto analysis, which brings out the best out of a simple data analysis using Excel. So you now know how to make Pareto and how to actually create different like charts, and what are the benefits of creating a chart on a dual series. That is the most important thing. We need to understand that these percentages were not we were not able to show on the same series, so quickly we decided to move on to the secondary series. So those all things we need to understand and focus on. So this was something related to Pareto analysis, or 80-20 analysis we call it. So if you have any queries related to this particular chart or these particular steps, please let me know. Just put it in the chat window. I will be I'm monitoring this particular chat window right now. So anything, any issues or any details you were not comfortable with or something, or just let me know. Exactly. So just a question saying that, may I know why the chart should not be in 3D? See what happens, a 3D chart, if you are making, then depicting a primary and secondary axis becomes a problem. So I'm not saying that you can't make a 3D chart. See, what we have done is also a 3D chart. What I'm saying is that when you start the chart, make it a 2D chart, because if you start with a 3D chart, then you won't be able to plot the secondary axis on that. 3D chart does not allow secondary axis mainly. So you make the chart in 2D and then use the other designs that are there available. So this also gives you a 3D effect feel, but absolutely we cannot just convert it into a 3D type basically. So that's one of the limitations you can call it here. So the charts that are available here, so if you simply go to column chart and we would like to make it as a 3D chart, so you see how it works. So it gives you a different type of data. Now plotting here will be a issue. So 3D chart if you are taking, and if I just wanted to focus on those particular options, so you can see that you cannot move to the different series. So I'm just pressing my down arrow, up arrow and all those things, but I'm still not able to point to those particular small sections what we have here. So I'm not able to point to those small sections here. So it says plot area, but it is not giving me an option to plot it on a particular chart. So if I just go to here, it says that you cannot create 3D combo charts. We need to change the chart type. So this is basically the reason why I was saying that we need to convert it into a 2D chart for working with only working with Pareto analysis. So this is one of the limitations. So 3D chart actually does not allow you to view that 80/20 very prominently, because it would require the concepts of what we call it combo charts in Excel. So combo charts does not allow 3D. So that is the basic reason. So you can just do some effects on this chart. So putting some shadows and bevel effects and all, being in a two-dimensional phase, not going to the three-dimensional or Z axis. So you cannot get into Z axis for this kind of chart. Any other query related to this particular Pareto analysis, or what we call 80/20 analysis? Okay, so let's proceed further. If you have any queries, any doubts, just put it in the chat window. I'm monitoring this particular chat window, so I will respond to it immediately. So let's move on to something interesting once again. So this was a chart, and I hope that you have gathered some insights of how to make such kind of charts in Excel. It was so simple, easy to make these charts. So if you simply, let's say we close this. So the concepts of Pareto and making the target lines was covered. Now we are going to move on to the formatting part of it. So this was just a small data set which we converted into a chart. But Excel also allows you to do some formatting on the table, just besides working on the table part of it. So let's view some of the data types. So I will, before moving on to the next topic of data formatting, I just have a small um, exercise to share with you. This is your stock data. So usually what happens when we actually get, so this is what the data is all about. The company A and company B, both company details are here. So if you just wanted to find out which share or which stock I should put my money into, or where I should invest. So this line chart is a histogram. So that is for the, let's say, 30 data points we are talking about. So line histogram is the best way to do it actually. So just to give you a glimpse of what other types of charts are possible to be made, and what are the different other components of the chart as well. So like this. Okay, so let's now move on to our old data, which is our sales data, and let's see how quickly we can do some effective formatting using Excel for this particular uh, data. So let's see. Now this data is again the same kind of data that we have seen earlier also, like the location, month and all. Now we straight away want to do some formatting for this particular data. So first of all, let's understand one thing. There are some limitations of the regular files that we have in Excel. So first of all, we saw in our last example also, if you just want to gather some insights about this particular data, the first thing that we have to do is to create a filter, which is like Alt DFF. So we create a filter. Now after creating the filter, we need to check like what are my data types and what are my like different data points or filter points that are available here. That was the first thing. Now, apart from this particular details, directly what we are seeing here, we actually have other components as well. So if you just talk about the other concept here, so see, if you say that I need to just see this particular heading that we see for the table, we are not able to identify that that's a heading. So to make it identifiable, what we do is we make it bold, and then we color it, actually change the colors and all those things we do. So this is one problem. So the problem areas I'm just discussing with you for any given data. So the next thing that the problem is happening with is, like, if you scroll down, you see that your headings are gone. So now you are unable to understand what is this heading and what is this heading. So your headings are absolutely gone. So you go to the top, then only you will be able to find out. And there are multiple ways of like freezing that. So one of the ways is actually going to view and say freeze. So this is the most prominent one. So we know the moment I say, okay, I need to see the headings, we say, okay, freeze. So freeze top row and top column, the first column. So these are the options that we have for freeze panes. Now, apart from these freezing options, there are some options related to entering of formulas as well. So let's say I just wanted to provide like this. I need to just find out the average sales. So remember that we were just putting a formula, total sales by total quantity. So once I have got the formula, if I want to copy paste, there are multiple ways. I can just drag it, or I can double click, or if I want to do it from the keyboard, then what I will do, I will just press my left arrow and then press control from my keyboard and press down arrow. It takes me to the last cell. Then I come to the right, and then I press control and shift and up arrow. It takes me to the top, and finally I press control D. So the moment I press control D, the entire data is actually copied. So entire formula is copied and it works. Now these are the basic things that we do in Excel. So these basic things can be done in a much efficient way using a particular concept. So I'll just remove my header like this. And now what we are going to do is we will be taking up a concept of data tables and see how data tables can help us to modify these tables or these data sets. So immediately what we do is we go to our home. So after just clicking inside this particular table, we go to home, and there we have something called format data as table. The moment I click there, you see that entire design set of tables are here. So if I just take up any of these particular designs, it is asking, where is your data? So I said that this is my data. So directly it pushes me to this particular area, and the moment I say yes, my data has got some headers, and click OK, it works and it creates a table out of this. So what are the benefits? Let's look at the benefit. Though it looks like a simple coloring of data, but it is not. First thing, look at the top row. The top row has been given a prominent color, which is a contrast color, and we already have a filter in place. So we don't have to put the filter ourselves also. Filter is already there. The auto filter has been put. So the benefits. So benefit number one, it auto filters. Benefit number 2, it creates the design. So we can just change the design by clicking, or just taking our cursor also we can change the design. See, I'm just changing my design like this. So it's so simple to change the design. Now whenever we change the design, so that is applicable to the entire table. So we have the filter, we have the prominent header, we have the design which can be modified anytime. So these are the primary things that we can do with table. Now let's come to a situation wherein we want to actually create another column. So if I say that I need to create a column, so let's say I say average sales column I need to take. So the moment I press enter, bingo, it adds that particular column within my table. So this is again a very good benefit. So it never isolates a particular column. Anything that is like attached with that table, it automatically takes it inside the table range. So this is like this. So if you just, similar thing happens with your row also. So if you create another row, automatically that row will also be inserted within the data table. So now these becomes my major advantages for creating a table. Now something just very important. You can see that it says A, B, C, D as the column headings, which was the case earlier also. So to see these headings, earlier we used to freeze it. So now if you see that once we have converted into table, if we scroll down a bit, did you notice that the A, B, C, D cells or the column names have been changed, and they have taken this, the headings have taken their place. So this is a very good example, very good important part of a data table. So automatically it takes up the column heading as well. Now again a very important concept of table. If we actually go and enter a formula, let's see what happens. So you say that equal to, let's say I just want to put the average sales. So it says total sales by quantity. The moment I press enter, we see that automatically our data is populated, the average sales is populated. So if you change the formula for the first cell, it will copy it for all the cells. So that is again a benefit of using a table. Now this was just a glimpse of what data tables can do. Something now very interesting that we will be showing you is related to something called flash fill. So let's see what is flash fill. So this was just entering data. Now let's take an example that I want some uh, key field. So I'm just designing a key field and I'm in a fix like what to do with the key field mainly. So for the key field, there are so many suggestions that are coming. Somebody says that please merge your location with the group, it will become a key field. But somebody says merge the month with the group, it will become a key field. So many suggestions are coming up. Now what happens is that I really need to put like an end to it and then make the field appear very prominently. So what I do is actually I need to concatenate the data. So let's see how we concatenate data. So even if I simply say equal to, concatenate is the function. So if I say concatenate, let's say I want this sales lead and comma laptop, the group. So the moment I press enter, automatically it takes. So see, for this we have to actually use the concept of functions. So concatenate functions. Now there is actually a sophisticated tool available for only for 2013. This feature is not available for 2010. Look at this feature. It says that we don't require concatenate anymore. So see here, if I just wanted to say Soumya and then give a space and a laptop, we have to do it like this. Give a space, comma, group, and press enter. So it takes like this. Now Excel says that we don't need to use the concatenate also. You are free to work directly. So you say that you simply say Soumya, give a space and press say laptop. Soumya, laptop. Don't press enter. Instead of pressing enter, you press control and enter. There is a difference between enter and control enter. Enter if you put, then it takes you to the next row. And if you press control and enter, then it actually takes, but it actually remains in that particular cell itself. Now from your keyboard, press control E. See what happens. So first, for flash fill, I used control plus enter to keep the cursor static. Then pressed control plus E. So control plus E is actually the command to do flash fill. Now using flash fill, it's not like a command that can only be done like that. So there are multiple ways, several ways through which we can actually put flash fill within a particular Excel sheet. So if we just go to our data, so the same option is available over here also. So in data, if you see, there's an option called flash fill. It works the same way. It automatically fills in values. So if you just put one or two couple of entries, automatically it takes the flash fill. So in our case, even if I just put one sentence and it copies it. So it looks like only it can join to data, which is text. No, not like that. See here, I say I want 3 letters from the sales lead. Then I want to put the number, which is the quantity. And then I put a comma and I need the last or the first 3 letters of the word laptop, something like this. So I have created a particular list. I press control enter. I see that automatically it has been taken and it has understood what I wanted to do. So from television it has taken tel, from laptop it has taken lap, from smartphone it has taken SMA. So for the names it has also taken it properly. So this is one example of how flash fill can work. So it looks like it can also work with numbers as well. Now see the ultimate thing. We have the numbers and we have the text. Now the ultimate thing what we are looking at is making a string kind of thing. So if I say here Soumya sold 16 laptops, see how simple it is. Press control like this Just a moment. Yeah. Sorry. So now, yes, I see a question saying that can I see the formula or the key field? Now, this flash fill is not a formula actually, and you cannot see the key fields also. So, like whatever you type, it actually uses some logic, some analysis techniques to find out what are the data points here. So if it's smart enough, so if I say that complete it, if I say, just I say complete it, Soumya sold 16 laptops in Jan for Bangalore, something like this. The moment I press control enter, see what happens, automatically it understands what has to be done. So there is no formula behind this. It is just an analysis technique that has been used by Excel to fill up, and it says that we don't need to actually use concatenate. The same thing could have been done using concatenate also. So if you do it by concatenate, then we can see the formula. So if I see here one very important thing. So even if you say laptops, so instead of laptop, if you say laptops, it identifies that here it has to be smartphones or televisions or digicams or tablets. So seamlessly it puts S for all this particular columns or something like this. Now it has got some intelligence, and we cannot just rely on this particular intelligence to make our key field. But just wanted to show you that we if you are using 2013 version 2013 version, so we don't need our concatenate function anymore, so we can just go ahead with our regular flash fill option. So that is what I just wanted to showcase over here. So this was a demo for flash fill, which is a very new concept that has come from 2013 onwards. So there are two major advancement that has been made in Excel 2013. So one is this flash fill, and the second one is the sorry, there are three in fact. One is the flash fill. Second one is what we say is a recommended chart. So if I say that if I just click on or select this particular data, simple, this particular data, if I select and I go to our option for uh, insert. So in insert, we will see that apart from the regular charts, I also have something called recommended charts. So it recommends what kind of charts you should be making for to showcase this data. So automatically you see that it makes the scatter chart also for you, and directly it shows that there is some a correlation or not, just to find out is there any correlation between the sales quantity and the sales amount. So for that you are just looking into these numbers. So this is the second option. And the third option is if you just select any data, it gives you a very small option, a small icon at the bottom right, and that is known as quick analysis. If you click there, it gives you so many other options, like we have formatting, so we have charts, so it shows you all the charts, recommended charts. It can give you the totals also, what will be the average, what will be the running total, sum, so all these things. And then shows the tables, pivot tables also. See, it gives you a pivot table as a cross tab query also. It shows like for Bangalore how many laptops and smartphones and all those things, how many instances of data is there. So just like that. So these are the three main advancement that 2013 has made in Excel. So this was one of them. So using the flash fill option. Now let's move on to a very important concept. So flash fill we have understood and we have seen how the formula works. So any issues, any queries related to whatever topic or whatever points we have discussed till now, we can just put it in your chat window and I will take it from there. Any issues, any queries? Okay, so then let's proceed further with the other topics. Yeah, I see. Okay, so definitely I will repeat flash fill. So one of us, just one of you want to repeat the flash fill option, so I will repeat it right away. So flash fill is actually a technique which allows you to populate some columns or consecutive columns or consecutive rows, basically not columns, consecutive rows of a particular table with a similar kind of data. So for this, let's say I'm just putting a particular column. So I'm just taking a column. So usually let's take an example that we would like to concatenate some of the terms over here. So if I say that I want to say that Soumya sold 16 laptops. So how will you say that? You say equal to concatenate Soumya. Then it has to be double bracket, double quotes, sold, and then you say 16, then you say comma, then you again say open and close, and then you say laptop, and then you say double quotes s double quotes comma. So now concatenate function works fine. So I can see that it says Soumya sold 16 laptops, it has sold 80 laptops. So something we can do it using such a big formatting function called concatenate. So it uses the technique of just merging the data points together. Now what happens is that immediately there are some other techniques also that we were talking about, flash fill. So instead of putting such a big function or using a mega formula kind of thing for concatenating and adding and all other things, what we can do is simply we can go ahead and make some changes in our flash fill technique. So we simply say that the same thing we can merge as well. So if I go ahead and say that, okay, instead of Soumya, I would like to take only the 3 letters. So I have to again insert something called left of sales lead, and then comma 3, something like this. And if I say that, okay, I just need the last 3 letters of whatever laptops or other things, so what we can do, we can say right of group comma 3 comma like this and press. So see, it says so sold 16 tops, so something like this. So it takes a huge like power, or let's say concentration on all the functions to up merge all of them and actually bring out the output. But flash fill says something else. It says that, okay, you just put the sentence or the things that you would like to put in your data. Now it is smart enough. So if I simply say 261 data for lab. So see, such a complex type of situation it is. So where I have got this 261, this 261 actually is the first 3 numbers of this average sales. Data is my own word that I have put. For also my own word that I have put. Then this labs actually comes from the first 3 letters of laptop followed by S. The moment I press control enter, so don't put enter, control enter you need to press so that it stays there, and you simply press control E. So let's see whether it understood or not. Yes, bingo, it understands. So what it has done, it has seen that, okay, this 261 is actually a part of average sales. So for all the numbers, it has taken the first 3 numbers, and then data for is a constant term that it has used, and then laps. So it has taken lap, what we say, laptops. So 3 letters from laptop and put S. So that much smartness this particular flash fill has got. So now if every time I don't need to put control E, because one time I have done it. So since this is the data table, automatically whatever we put, it will be filled in this particular cell. So just let's take a complex thing. So that's what we did last time also. So we say that we take 3 letters from Bangalore, and then we say comma, and we say that 164 some tops, anything. I'm just putting some numbers, some text, so something like this, and then put a hyphen, and put some total sales numbers, 418. See how I'm putting it. The moment I press enter, it understands. Look at how it is getting. So somewhere it is not see, look at this particular concepts here, how it is finding RIME or SOME. See the logic behind it. So I thought it will be some SOME some. So for some, what it has done, it has actually taken 2 letters from Soumya and then added ME after that. So all the letters are actually 2 letters from the sales lead, and then it has added 2 letters of its own, which is ME. So that kind of smartness also it has got. So at times it might work, at times it might not work for you. So depending on the scenarios, depending on the situation, you might have to actually work like on like the what we say back, uh, move back and just ask like how our data would be prepared and how our actual details will be populated over here. So if you just can think of a particular format, a particular data, you can create it of your own. So even if you put this hyphens and brackets and commas and double quotes and single quotes, anything you put, it actually tries to first of all find out whether some of the letters or something matches with your data or not. So I simply took let's say 164. So understand that 164, I thought it will be this 164, but it has taken this 16 and added 4. So this kind of glitches might be there. So if I simply now put 6164 and press enter, it understands where is this 6164 coming from. So it's just like some there is no fixed algorithm, like we are not aware of algorithm is definitely there because it's a programming language based thing. It has been made with a programming language. So C++ is behind this particular Excel software. So definitely some logic is there, but we the common users of Excel have no idea about this particular algorithm that is taken care of. So this was just a demo of how our flash fill techniques work, like this. So I hope that, yeah, so thank you. So I hope the say flash fill technique was clear to all of you. So let's move on to the next topic, which is related to data formatting. This is also a very useful and very important concept of Excel. So let's move on to that topic, and finally we will end up making some interactive data formatting in Excel. So we talk about the same Excel sheet that we have got here. So let's take an example that we would like to highlight some of the options or highlight some of the points in this particular table. So let's take an example. I just wanted to highlight laptops. Wherever laptops is there, I would like to highlight. So there are multiple ways of doing it. So one of the ways, which is the manual way, might be just going to group and select laptop and say okay, and wherever laptop comes you simply select them and then color them. So that is one of the basic thing that we can do. Now apart from this basic thing, the most important concept here that comes out is, let's say you have colored the laptops. Now, if I say that please change the laptop from laptop to television, what happens? That color remains there because the color was static. It was not dependent on the data. It was actually dependent on the range. It was dependent on the actual data point that we had got. So it was totally dependent on that particular cell. So now what we say that, okay, we are not going to use those static formats. So we have something called the dynamic formats as well. So what we will do, we will simply take, so let's say I want to format this laptop. So just see here, if first of all, the step number one would be to select the entire data range, whatever you wanted to format with. Go to home, and then there is an option called conditional formatting. The moment we click on conditional formatting, there are so many options that we can choose from. Now since this is a text, we can choose from a regular formatting option. So we simply go to new rule. So I can simply go to new rule here, and then we say that okay, we need to just format cells that contain. So formatting of cells that contain, if you simply say here that cell value. So cell value, since this is text, I cannot say between or after or before and all those things. So because it is a text, we can simply say equal to. So equal to, if I simply say laptop and I say a color, so let's say I just fill it with green color. So wherever there is a laptop, it should show me a green color. Now what is the significance? The significance is that how it is different. So you might say that I also can do it with the filter option, and I can select it, and then it will also give this particular color. But now my question is, if tomorrow I change this tablet to laptop, if you do it manually, will it also color this particular cell? It will not, because that was dependent on a cell address and not the cell content. So always remember one thing, your data, whatever you are putting, so formatting can be done either based on content, or it can be done based on the cell reference actually. So if I change, and if I say laptop and press enter, you see that automatically it shows me this option, and it changes the color as well, something like this. Now what happens is that it is not always that we can put only one color in that particular group. So what happens if you select the entire place and say conditional formatting, new, and cells that contain, and say equal to, again if I say that all the tablets should be in some, let's say, orange color or this particular color, and say okay, and say okay, something like this. Similarly, conditional formatting, new rule, next option, cell value is equal to, let's say if I say here television, change the format, change it to blue, it works. So I can give multiple um, formatting options for the same um, data points. Now still I think that okay, this particular data points and the colors and the options that we have given is again a static one, so it will not move. So what I wanted to do is, like, let's say I wanted to just highlight some of the data points based on movement of our cursor. So I say that okay, fine, if it is television, so you highlight it like this. So I would like to better control it from the outside place. So this is one of the techniques. So here what happens, let's say tomorrow if you say that no, I want the tablets to be in different color, and let's say television in different color and all, so we have to go and then change the actual formatting. But this particular formatting can be controlled from outside as well. So let's see how this particular option can be changed from outside. So first of all, what we will do, we'll select this, or even if you don't select it, if you just want to remove all the formatting, look here, we will be going to conditional formatting and say clear rules, and say clear rules from entire sheet. The moment we say clear rules from entire sheet, automatically you will see that all the rules have gone from the sheet. Now we are heading towards interactive formatting. Now what I say that okay, uh, group 1, group 2, group 3. So let's say there are 3 groups like this. Now what I want, instead of writing television and laptops and all other things, what I wanted to do is, just put it at the top. What I wanted to do is, I just wanted to put a data validation, what we have learned in the last module. So if you see that these are my actual data points, I will just copy paste it somewhere, and now what I will do, I will make a list out of it. See how do we control this particular data formatting from outside. This we call this as dynamic or interactive data formatting. So let's see how it works. So if you just click on this particular portion, and you go to data. This is what we have done last time also, data validation. Say data validation, and then it is asking for a value. I say it should be a list, and the source is going to come from this particular place. The moment we say okay, we see that automatically the list has come. Now my concern is that if I select here laptop, if I select here television, and if I select here digicam, based on these three, my colors should change. See what happens if you select it, and if you actually go to the top. Now what we will do, we will go to home, conditional format. See, this is a very important thing. Go to new rule. So you can go to new rule and also create the rules. Or what we can do, if you want to have multiple rules, then it is always better to go to something called manage rules. Manage rules also allows you to like create rules and modify and edit the rules, or view the rules that are already placed in this particular sheet or table or file. So I say that please could you give me an option how to make a new rule. So I simply say new rule. The same option highlights. I take the second option, and cell value this time will be equal to not laptop or not television what I was giving there. Instead of that, I will simply click on this particular cell. Automatically it takes absolute reference. You can see here absolute reference has been taken, and then we check for format and we click and say okay. So this becomes my first data format. The range it is already taken, E2 to E129. So next, let's say I just want to make another rule. So I just click here, I say equal to, and I say television, I say format, I need, let's say, blue color, some light blue color I will take, say okay, and then the final one. So I say new rule, and the second one, then equal to, then third one, then I simply select a particular color from here and say okay, say okay, say okay. So now you might say that okay fine, this is the same thing that we have done earlier also. I said no, this is being controlled by this particular parameter. So if I say that I would like to change all the smartphones to yellow color and all the televisions to blue color, sorry, laptops to blue color, we can do it right here. So I say that all my smartphones should be in yellow color. Done. I say that all my laptops should be in blue color. Done. I say that all my tablets should be in green color. Done. So see how interactively we can actually use data formatting in this particular scenario. So it was just introducing a data validation technique along with data formatting techniques. So it keeps on, like if you just keep on changing that particular format, your output will be accordingly. So this is just a glimpse of what data formatting can do. So we will proceed further. So if you have any queries, please drop it in your chat window. I will take it from there. So related to the primary portion of data formatting, it's a huge list. So we will be actually focusing on so many other aspects as well, apart from this coloring of only cells. Okay, so let's proceed. So we have seen one case of data formatting a cell based on a particular criteria, and we also saw that how to control this particular value or this particular coloring or formatting from a remote location. So remote location is nothing but a cell that is there, what particular place where these numbers or these details are kept. Now let's take an example. This was a simple case of data formatting or data conditional data formatting, conditional formatting, what we say, using data points of a data table. Now let's proceed and see what are the other options that are available for a particular conditional formatting option. So let's see. If we take like this, so let's say let's do something with the numbers. So we have been doing all through the text. Let's play with the some numbers. So for the numbers also, if we can say that, okay, fine, uh, just a moment. So if you simply say that quantity high, quantity low. So let's say I want to check it between 60 and 40. So 60, between 60 and 40, it should be highlighted with some color. So that also is possible using conditional formatting. So if you simply highlight the data range, and if you go to your conditional formatting, you see something called your new rules, and there if you go to the second option, there you can actually change this option. You said cell value, now you have between. So between, you can say between 40 and 60, the higher limit and the lower limit, and then you say that I want to change it to this particular color. So the moment you say okay, so automatically it changes. Now what happens if you push the lower limit to 30 and upper limit to 80? You see that automatically your data range or the highlighting of options also change according like based on the details that has been provided in these two particular cells. So it is completely interactive and based on the details that has been put over there. Now there are other aspects also of formatting. So not only the colors, let's take an example and talk about the total sales. So if you simply highlight the data, and then if you go to the conditional formatting option, apart from colors, apart from the new rule setting of colors, there is another option called data bars. Now data bars is something very interesting, and it can be used for creating miniature charts within a particular cell. So let's see. The moment you take a data bar, automatically see what happens. It creates a chart within our data. So see here, these are the solid ones, and these are actually the gradient ones. So based on the color we choose, we can actually make small charts. So the two things we have to understand while talking about this particular data. Now what we can say that this number 30,456, it's quite a small number as compared to the other numbers that we have in this particular range. That is one thing. Second thing is that this particular number, you can say it's a higher number. So smaller number, higher number, both the things, or we can say that, okay, how the range is differing. So you take any given number, so you can say that whether it is in the top quartile or bottom quartile or something like this. Now how Excel is able to find out? So remember, if you have noticed, like while putting on this particular data filtering, we had selected the entire uh, data point. So data point was selected. So since we had selected the data point, it was very easy for us to actually highlight the option and take it further. So instantly what we can do, we can take up, so it has actually taken the range. So when we have highlighted the data, it has actually taken the range from lowest to highest, and accordingly it has plotted the chart. So this was one of the benefits of data formatting. Let's move on to the another type of formatting. So we have just formatted some numbers. So if I say lower number 0, higher number 0, so you can see that everything vanishes. So now let's say there are other aspects of formatting as well. So we will select this particular data. So data formatting has got something called text formatting, number formatting based on colors. Then we have something called based on conditions. Then we have something called based on a particular cell. We can make it interactive. Then we saw something called data bars, wherein we can actually create miniature charts within a particular cell. And now we are going to see something very like unusual, very interesting. Excel actually allows you to create dashboards and RAG reports instantly. So I'm sure that you are aware of what is RAG report. RAG stands for red, amber, green. So any given data, maybe your payroll data, maybe your outliers data, maybe your issued data, maybe your sales and let's say employee data, any kind of data, if your performance dashboard, your performance data, your KPI data, all these data can be actually visualized as a RAG data. RAG data means red, amber, green. So usually your data can be divided into 3 quartiles. So one is your red quartile, which is the bottom quartile, and then is your amber quartile, so which is the middle quartile, and the green is your top quartile. So any data can be divided into 3 sections mainly: red, amber, green. So it is actually 33%, 67%, 100%. That is how it is divided directly. So if you just take an example of this particular RAG data, you will see that we can actually see the same concept here also. We have to select the entire data range to create this uh, data table or this particular formatting. So here our purpose is to just select this, and then what you need to do is we again go to data formatting, conditional formatting options, and there is an option called icon sets. This is again a very interesting topic to talk about. Icon sets is actually allows you to put icons based on your data. So again the same concept, we have to highlight the data so that Excel can understand how to put the icons. So my favorite is this traffic light. So the moment I click on traffic light, this is actually rimmed traffic light and red, amber, green. So 3 things are there. So you can choose this. There are several options. We have directional, which is the arrow ones. And see here, if you just take the directional, it shows like whether it's in the middle or whether it's in a bottom quartile or top quartile, it automatically shows like that. If you select this, it shows the amber, red, amber, green as well. You can take the directional, we can take the shapes are of all different types, and then we have indicators, we have ratings. Now understand one thing carefully, we can actually divide our data in different ways. The basic division is RAG, red, amber, green, where the data is divided into 3 quartiles: 33%, 67%, and 100%. If we talk about the next type of division, it has got 4 sections actually. 4 sections means it will be 25, 25, 25, 25 means 4 quartiles we can divide into. Excel also allows you to divide your data into 5 quartiles: 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So you can, at any point of time, you can change it, modify it, and all these things can be done directly. If I simply select like this, you can see how your red, amber, green details are coming over here. So like this, at any point of time, you can actually change this data points also. So directly we can change it and then put our data points here. So these all like icons that we have put can be modified, can be changed also here. So if we see, and now let's take an example that we have seen the data points and would like to actually modify or do some changes over here. So that will also be possible. We can change it to some other quartiles, we can change it to percentage, we can change the percentage and all other things directly. So let's take an example that we want that till 50% it should be red, and only above 50%, so it should be from 50 to 75 should be amber, and 75 to 100% should be green. So to change those things, which is also possible, so we can highlight the entire data, go to conditional formatting, and there's an option called manage rules. So manage rule is actually a place, we call it the rule manager. So rule manager actually allows you to work on your data. So if you directly click here, you will see that automatically it has come like edit rule and delete rule and other things. I say that I need to edit the rule. If you edit the rule, it actually shows you the various options. Directly we have here the icons, and you can see that it says 33%, 67% and 100%. So you see the icons. So I have a choice to actually change it to a 2 color scale, 3 color scale, data bar, icon set, or I can change the number of icons as well. So if I just wanted to increase it to 5 icon set, that is also possible. So we say 20, 40, 60, 80. So something like this. So automatically you can see that 20, 40, 60, 80, 100. So 5 quartiles it has changed to. Not only this, we can individually go ahead and change these all icons. So if I just say that, okay, I don't want this green arrow, I would like to take it as a green flag kind of thing. Or let's say if I say that the bottom one should be showing up as the dot, red dot, and this particular thing should be showing up as, let's say, some other options like this one. So see here, we can change each one of these particular icons, and the moment I say okay, automatically you will see that our data has been transformed based on the options that we have given. So it has been divided into 5 quartiles. Now you might ask that, okay, is it that only the icons will be visible, and is it that only for visualization and then see that, okay, fine, this is red dot and green? There are other aspects also, there are other ways of looking into this particular data as well. So let's take an example that we wanted to see how our top quartiles look like. So I can simply go ahead and say filter, and there's an option called filter by color. This is again a very interesting option. So if you say filter by color, let's take an example. I want to simply check the top 20% of my numbers, or top 20% of my data, whatever it is. So I can simply click on this particular green flag. I know that this is stands for the top 20%. If I simply click on this green, you can see that automatically the green icons have come here. directly. So similarly, there are other options as well, so which can be used for formatting. So you can see that a filter can be applied to an icon as well. So you can say clear filter, so automatically it clears the filters, and we can see all of them happening together over here. Now one final thing, um, so here we can see that it is being controlled. Here we can change the colors, we can use data bars, we can use icons, we can use color scales. So many things are possible. But one thing I would like to just focus on is an aspect through which we can actually color the entire row. So first of all, let's remove all the coloring, whatever formatting we have, so that we can understand it clearly how it is working. So if I say conditional formatting, clear rules in this table, so it removes all the formatting. So let's understand from the beginning how this formatting can be done based on a formula. So just take an example that I want that if, so I just wanted to highlight the records of laptops. So wherever laptops are there, it should highlight the entire record. Now the entire record cannot be highlighted directly without using a formula. So I'm just giving you an idea how this formula can work. So see here, if you, first of all, what you have to do, we have to select the entire data. This is the step number one. Now after selecting the data, we have to apply a formula for conditional formatting. So we go to conditional formatting, and there's an option called new rule. So we will definitely go to new rule. Now instead of taking any one of these options, there are options to check the duplicate values also. So it can format the duplicate values. It can format below average, ranked values. Those all things can be done using conditional formatting. We are bothered about the formula part of it. Now how a formula can be used for formatting, that is what we are looking forward to see. Now directly, if I just go to formula, it is asking for give me a formula. So what is the formula that you are looking for? So I said that I'm just looking for a particular formula which says that. Now what is my formula? I say that wherever this is a laptop, so wherever this is the laptop, it should highlight the entire row. So what is the logic? So if I go to this particular cell, so always remember, whenever you are putting a formula, don't take the header. Otherwise it will also be a part of your conditional formatting, which you don't want. Only the data part should be highlighted. So now if you consider this particular cell A2, what it says, so it says that if the E column of this particular cell is a laptop, then please highlight it. This is what the logic is. So even if you just go to average cells, so if you come to this particular cell, on what basis it should be highlighted? It says that if the E column of this particular row is equal to laptop, then please highlight it. So everywhere we are focusing on the E column, that is for sure. So wherever we are going, just focusing on the E column. Now we simply go ahead and say the formula like this. If you say that, if you simply say equal to, now I want everything should hover around the E column. So I have to freeze E column. So I say E, column E, and 2 is not fixed. So that's why there is no dollar in front of 2. So I say, since it is a formula, it has to start with equal to. So I say that equal to E or dollar $E2, and then I say equal to. So if it is equal to, then what I will do, I will simply say if it is equal to my laptop. So what this particular statement means, So if you just leave this first equal to, this means that if the dollar E means if the E column of a particular row is having the value as laptop, then please highlight it. So laptop is there in this L4 cell. So this is how the comparison works. So the first equal to is for starting a formula. The second equal to is for comparing two values. That is what both the things are here for. Then if you say format, then if you say highlight any color, say OK. Now see what happens. The moment I say OK, all my laptop related records are highlighted. Not only this, if you go ahead and change it to television, if you go ahead and change it to digicam, or if you change it to smartphone, you can see that automatically your highlight changes. So this is just an idea, a glimpse of how conditional formatting works and how it can work for formulas as well. So it can work definitely on your numbers. It can definitely work on your data or text. Also, it can work on formulas. Yes, so I see somebody raising. Okay, so I have got a question asking what other formulas can be used. So in this particular conditional formatting, usually we do some comparison or something. So there is no as such rule that only a particular equal to function or equal to operator can be used. So we can use for highlighting the entire row for other purposes also. Let me show you something. Let's say if I say that formulas, I mean to say that any kind of operators, plus, equal to, greater than, less than, comparison, comparing, so that also can be done. So mainly using a particular text also. If you say that this is laptop I have used, so based on that also, or based on some numbers, mainly we will be either working based on numbers or based on our text. So in both the cases, both the formulas, you can actually work it on. So let's take an example that the same kind of formatting I would like to make for my numbers as well. So anything beyond 50 should actually be highlighted. Anything wherever the quantity is going beyond 50 should be highlighted. The entire row should be highlighted. The same thing what we can do, we can select the entire data range. We can go to conditional formatting and say new rule, go to formula, and I say that equal to is for the start of formula. So I say that equal to, let's say this is quantity is F, so I have to give $F2. This is always static, so either you say AE2, F2, G2, H2, something like this, because don't say 1, because 1 is your heading. So you start it with 2 and you say that if this particular quantity is greater than whatever number has been put here, then please highlight it. So if you simply say highlight it in blue color, see what happens. A magic happens. Everything is in blue color. Why? Because the number is 0 over here. Now I change it, I say 50. See what happens. It automatically reveals some of the records. I go further, I say 60. I go further, I say 70. Automatically you will see that your records are highlighted based on. So couple of things we wanted to show you. First thing is that it is not that we have to only use one formula for one table or one cell or row. We can use multiple formulas, and formulas whenever you are using, we can either mainly use the arithmetic operators. So mainly plus, minus, or let's say greater than, equal to, comparison operators mainly. So that is where formula means that it is actually a if condition. So just consider that formula plays as an if condition. So whatever you put becomes either true or false. So if it is true, then highlighting will happen. If it is false, then highlighting will not happen. So you understand that particular formatting as a if condition, just like that. So whatever you can put in if condition, the same thing you can put in that particular place as well. So I hope that the query was answered. Yes. Okay. Thanks. Yeah. So now this was about our conditional formatting and dynamic interactive conditional formatting. What we say, we talked about the rules and we talked about the data bars. We talked about how to do advanced conditional formatting. So these were the topics mainly we wanted to discuss in today's session. Now what if you have any queries, please put down your queries in this chat window. But before I wrap up this particular session, there is a small topic which is left from yesterday's module. I would just like to cover it before we finish. And it's again a very interesting thing. So some of the functions related to date and text. So we will be talking about those functions and then we will wrap up this session. So I know that in a particular day we are having 5 hours of session, but actually believe me, once you do that's why we have kept it in 2 separate weeks. So we would request all of you to go through some of the data sets, try your I will just give you a glimpse of the data sets that we have got for you. So if you see, it's a mixture of data sets. So this baby names is actually a CSV file. This has been brought from a big data source. So you can use it for some analysis. We will use this for analysis purpose as well. If you talk about this customer sales, this is a very good example of data to make a dashboard. So we will be using this kind of data for making dashboards as well. If you talk about this daily fresh, this is again a very good template for learning several things like VLOOKUPs and protection and indirect functions. So we will be using this daily fresh as an exercise for once we have done the VLOOKUP lookup part of it. So we will be talking and we will be coming back to this daily fresh also. That's a very good data set. We have some data sets related to employee projects as well. So and some analysis related data sets are very useful. So we will see that how we can actually analyze some of the data. So we'll see some interesting facts like just wanted to check whether Bangalore temperature has got any effect to the ice cream sales of the vendors. So we'll do some analysis, such kind of analysis. How is weather affecting the sales? Is there any relation between those two things? If it is there, then what is that relationship? So you can also, after we proceed with that particular module, you can also go ahead and do such a very small but very innovative kind of analysis using the common tools like Excel. So we'll do such things. We will also see how actually we can forecast data. So we'll see how we can forecast data, and we will help some of our friends to forecast based on some given numbers. And also I have got some data sets like this World Bank indicators. This World Bank indicators is also again big data, a part of big data actually. So it has got all, it's a government data actually provided by World Health Organization. So there we have got different kinds of for all the like some of the countries. I have just taken a part of that particular big data. Some of the countries I have taken. It's a huge data set. It talks about population, GDP, birth rate, then mortality rate, and all those things. We can do some analysis on that as well. What is going on in our world? So those kind of topics we will be focusing on. So this is we call it that this particular Excel sessions are the sessions with a twist. So they are not the regular Excel sessions where we just go by the menu options and keep on teaching that this is what. So we take some scenarios and then we take help of Excel to work on those particular scenarios. Now, before we wrap up this session, I told you that we will be just focusing on some of the date and text functions. Please make a note of it. This is a very important concept. So you can just take a blank sheet to check how these text functions and date functions can work. So let me take the date functions first. Now, date, we know that if you just want to put the current date and current time, so if you press Control plus semicolon, it gives you the current date. And if you press Control plus Shift plus semicolon, it will give you the current time. So if you simply put Control semicolon, it gives you the current date, and Control Shift semicolon, it gives you the current time. So some shortcuts. Now these date and time are actually punched in this particular Excel. So there are other ways of putting date and time also. So we have functions called today. We know that today is a function which gives us current date, and similarly now is a function. Now is a function which gives us current time. But there is a difference between this particular date and time at this particular date and time. So this date and this particular time is actually constant. So they will not change. So this date and this particular time will not change. However, these will change. So look at this particular time here. So if you just do something on this sheet, you see that after some time it will change. So when it comes to the next minute, it will change here as well. And if you open this particular sheet tomorrow, you will see that automatically the date also will change. So these kind of functions are again coming under the head of volatile functions. We call them volatile functions. See here, 17.9 has changed to 17.10. So we call it volatile functions. So your rand between today and now, these four are actually coming under the category of volatile functions. So let's have a look at some of the text date related functions that Excel supports. So we know that a date is actually a number in the background. So if we simply consider this particular number, so this particular date, this is actually a number. If I simply write somewhere let's say 42005, something like this, this is actually a number. So if you just right click, and if you say format cells, and if you go to date, and if you say OK, it automatically changes to a number over here. So the number changes to date over here. So 1st January 2015. So this means that if this is a number, if I say that, okay, fine, how many days have elapsed since the beginning of this year? This means, let's say this is my starting date. So this is my first date, and this is today's date. So this is my start date, and this is my end date. So if both the things are there, I just wanted to check like how many days have passed. So calendar days we are talking about. So calendar days, if we say, it is actually like this minus this. If you click directly, press enter, we see that 212 days have passed in this particular one or 8 or 7 or 8 months over here. So calendar days. Now, apart from calendar days, we do have like other options as well. So if I just wanted to find out business days. So business days means that we have to remove our what we say, the Saturdays and Sundays. So if you just want to remove Saturdays and Sundays, then in that case, we have to use some functions. So what are these functions? Let's have a look. So there's a function called network days. So network days is the function which allows you to actually calculate the difference between 2 days, the business days actually. So it takes the start date. So start date is this and end date is this. If you close the bracket, it automatically says that no, this is not 212 days. It is actually 152 business days. Now 152 business days are coming over here. Now apart from 152 business days, the most important thing that we need to consider over here is that if I say that, okay, how many days you have worked actually? So actually how many days you have worked, if I just wanted to calculate this, now your simple calculation or subtraction will not work because there are some holidays also in between. So if you say that, let's say 26th of January 2015 was a holiday, 1st of March 2015 was a holiday, similarly something like this, or let's say 1st of January 2015 was a holiday. So usually these holidays, let's say we have not worked for, and we want to remove it from the calculation of business days also. So network days also allows you to put the holidays as well. So if you say equal to network days, it says start date, so start date, then it says end date, end date. It is now asking for holidays. So be careful here. Holidays, don't put a number. I will tell you why. Don't put a number. Just write your holidays somewhere or as a list of holidays and point that entire range of holidays. This is how we give the holidays here. So just take the start date and end date, and holidays actually has to be put as a range over here. The moment we close the bracket and press enter, we come to this particular point. We come here that it is actually 150 days and not 152 business days. But there's a catch over here. So there was 152 days as business days. However, we have got the actual days as 150. So what is the reason? It should have shown 149 because 152 minus 3 is actually 149. So anybody from the audience who can tell me why this is 150 and not 149, though we have given 3 holidays in this particular list? Anybody from the audience who can tell me what is the significance of network days and why it has not calculated 3 days and why it has only subtracted 2 days? Anybody from the audience who can actually answer this question? Absolutely right. So out of these 3 holidays, if you look into this particular day, 1st of March, this if you just see here, if I just convert this into format cells and go to custom and say DDDD, comma like this, and if I say OK, you will see that 1st March was a Sunday. And Saturday, Sundays have already been calculated in business days. So Excel has got that smartness to not to calculate it multiple times. So not the second time. So since this was already a Sunday, it was captured within business days. It has not calculated. So rest, there are 2 days which falls in the weekdays. So it has been calculated and it has been subtracted. So that is why I said that don't put numbers and put your working days. So the list of holidays basically. So whatever list of holidays you have, so based on that you can immediately calculate the number of working days, the actual number of working days, business days. These all things can be calculated. So this was a glimpse of the date function. So let me just show you one more date function. So somewhere, let's say you have got some data which is in the form of something like this, 2014 and 23 and let's say 09, something like this. And you have got similar data kind of thing. and you have, so this is a full set of, let's say, numbers which are there in 3 columns. Now you have been asked to actually convert them into date. So there is a very important and very good function which can convert numbers into date, provided they are there in the date format. Date format in the sense they fall in the date option. So if you say equal to date, there is actually a function called date. So date takes 3 parameters. First of all, it's the year that it takes. Then it takes the month. So month is this one. And then it takes the day. The moment you close your bracket, you press enter, you see that it gives us 23/9/2014, which is absolutely the date we were looking for. Now what happens is that we immediately wanted to count of months plus minus numbers. So can we see count of months plus minus numbers? Yes, there is a function. So let's say this is today's date and I want to see 10 months from now what will be the date. Is it what you are looking for? Let's say 22 months back what was the date, or 12 months from now what will be the date, something like this. So if that is the case, we can actually we can actually use a function called EOMonth. So EOMonth is a function which actually takes 2 parameters. Start date, so let's say today is start date, and I say that I just wanted to check 17 months from now what will be the day and the last day of the month. So there is no actual um, method to find out the exact day after so many months. So what we can do, we have EOMonth, which gives me the last day of the month. So this gives me a number. So if I format this particular thing with the same number or same format, it says that 17 months from now it will be January month, and the last day of that particular month will be 31st January. So that is the maximum thing we can do for calculating months, or let's say calculating. One thing we can do, if you just wanted to find out how many months have passed between these two dates, that we can do here. So if you say that equal to month of date, sorry, so you take the bigger number first, minus month of the smaller number. If you press enter, you can see that 7 months have passed. So that thing we can do. So but directly getting the date after calculating the months, we won't be able to do it directly. So there might be some calculations or if conditions and all other things that we have to do. So these are the 2 things that we can do with the months. Now we are actually bothered about this particular date here. This date has been created by 3 numbers. Now we want to prove that this is a date. It is a part of a function, so it is not possible to prove it directly. So let's prove it the way Excel knows it. So there's a function called text, which is again a very important function. It asks for value and format. So it is talking about value. So this is the value and the format. Now format is, if I say DDDD in double quotes, DDDD, and close it, so it says Tuesday. If it is showing Tuesday, this means that this is a valid date. So if it is not a valid date, it won't be able to find the day of the week from this particular option. Similarly, if you simply say equal to text and the value, and if you say MMMM, close it, you say see how we can actually see the month number, month date also, so month name also. So if we can figure out the month name and the day of the week, then this proves that this particular um, value is actually a date. So this is the function which can be used for formatting date also. So just have a look at this particular text function. So if I simply say equal to text, and this becomes my value, and say comma, and open, we say dd comma dd hyphen mmm hyphen yyyy, and close the double quotes and press enter. So see, automatically it takes the date in a long format. So these are the benefits actually for using date functions in Excel. So these are some of the date functions we have. We know that dates are actually numbers. They can be subtracted directly, and we can count the number of months also, number of years also. So that is also possible. So if a particular person's age or date of birth is, let's say, 1980, something like this. So if I just wanted to check what is the age of this person, so how will you check that? We'll say equal to, now age is actually related to years. So what I can do, I can extract the year from today's date. So today's date, I can put it like this. So what will happen? This today will pass on the date to year function, and the year function will actually extract the year number from the date. And then we say minus year. So both the years have to be subtracted. Then only we will be getting the exact number. So if I say press enter, so it gives me something like this. So I would like to convert it into a number. So I can take any number format and then push it like this. So it says 35 years, something like this. So instead of 9, if I put it as 7, so 23rd, something like this. So it shows me that 35 years have actually passed. So this is how we can calculate our data and related to dates. Now a short glimpse of what text functions can do. So if you simply say that I have some names, let's say I have some names like this, fine, and these names are actually full names, Matthew, Selena, or something, John, Patricia, or something like this, Michelle, um, Gomes, or something like this. Now these are actually full names. So this is full name. Now what I want is, I want to convert this full name to a first name and last name. So usually how do we do it? We select this particular date, the number, go to data, we go to text to columns, and we say delimited. We say delimited with space. The moment we say, automatically it converts my data. So this is a very good example of how data can be converted or how it can be splitted. Now the question arises is that this is a manual thing. So tomorrow if the names increases, we have to again do the same activity for all the names. Or let's take an example, somebody has already segregated the names. After that, if I write the next name, so it will be again difficult for me to split it. So why not to create a template which will actually, the moment you put some name, it will split into two names, first name and last name. So for this you would require the position of the space over here. So how will you find the position of the space? There is a function in Excel called find. It's a very useful function, and we say that what do you want to find? We want to find a space. So we give double quotes and the space, and then again a double quotes. We press comma, and then we say which place it is. So we say that this is the text. The moment we close it, it says 6. So 6 is the position of the text of the space. Now based on this position, we can find the first name. We say that equal to left of this text and number of positions. If you simply put it like this, this means that go to this particular name, from the left hand side of this particular name, pick up these many characters. So what is these many characters? This is up to the space. The moment I press enter, it gives me the first name. Now last name is actually just the opposite of it. So I cannot say right of this particular name, and directly I cannot give position. Why? Because first name and last name might not be of same number of characters. So what you have to do, we have to find out the length of the name and then subtract the position, then only it will work. So we say that equal to right, open the bracket, and then we say this is my text, and for the number of characters we have to do something. We say len, and now it is asking what is the text. So text is also the same text, and then we say minus, and where is the position? This is my position. The moment I close my bracket, I see that my first name and last name are absolutely working fine. But there is a small challenge over here. So if somebody puts some space unknowingly or unwanted spaces are there, then it will create a problem. So what we can do, we can cover this particular right using the function called trim. The moment we say trim, trim is actually used for trimming spaces. The moment we press enter and copy it, we see that even though we have some spaces, let's see if we just give some unwanted spaces, it still works and gives the first name and last name. So this is just an example of what first name like text functions can do. Just before closing, I'll just give you a hint of one function called repeat. So if you simply say equal to rept, and if you simply say pipe symbol and say 20, let's say, see what happens. It repeats the number of characters. So let me just give you an idea. Let's say somewhere you have written rand between, let's say 10 comma 40. Fine, just some random numbers. See what happens. And here, instead of 20, what you do, you click on this particular place and press enter. Look at this. So now this becomes a part of your dashboard. So any numbers that you have, something like this. So if let's take an example, these are some parameters, some quality parameters or some scores. So they can be actually displayed as a histogram directly. So see how it can be displayed as a histogram. So automatically the repeat function works out here and gives you the output. So this is the function. So instead of repeating the pipe symbol, I'm just giving you another hint. If you say char is a function which converts ASCII code into a character. So if you say char 65, it will show you A. Similarly, if you say char 8 and press enter, see what happens. It actually creates a simple histogram on your screen. So the purpose of repeat function is to repeat a particular character for number of times, whatever number you say. So I'm just giving an example of rand functions. You can use this particular function for any of the histograms in your dashboards. So you just relate these numbers as some scores or some matrices, and then you connect it with the repeat function. It gives a very good impression of your data within your dashboard. So this was all about the session today, based on formatting, making of charts, dual series chart. So in the process, we have actually seen dual series chart and Pareto chart, how to do analysis, and data formatting as table, and conditional formatting, interactive formatting. And we also have covered the remaining part which was not covered yesterday, that was the date and some of the text functions, some important date and text functions. So if you have any queries, you can put it in this particular chat window right away, or what you can do, you can practice. So this video will be anyway uploaded, and we will be sharing you the link. So, and you already have the data sets, so you can refer to those data sets, refer to this video, do some hands-on practice, understand how the data sets are working and how the functions are working. Just work with them, and in case you have any issues, any doubts, any queries, please walk up to us next Friday at 10 o'clock. So we will be meeting for the fourth module on Friday at 10 o'clock. So maybe by Thursday or Friday morning, or maybe maximum by Thursday evening, I see that you will be sent another link. So as you have done today. So prior to starting of the particular session, it would be great if you can enter this particular session. And in next module, the highlights will be, we will be talking about lookups and pivots. It's a very interesting topic again. So we will be exploring the lookup. So we'll see what is a vertical lookup, horizontal lookup, and then we will see something very unusual. We'll see something called reverse lookup techniques also. So don't miss that particular session. It's a very important session. And then we'll see how to handle errors. What are the different types of errors that Excel generates, and how do we handle such errors? And formula tracing, we have also done it, and we'll just see formula tracing once again, how it happens. And then we will move on to our slicing and dicing of data. That will be interesting, and believe me, we will be talking about some very basics of descriptive analytics or reporting or making of dashboards, what we say. So don't miss this session on Friday at 10 a.m. So